That means you have to stop asking why they hurt you, what their family wants. You have to stop trying to figure out what you could have done differently to keep them. Because some people weren't supposed to stay. Some people only came into your life to trigger the parts of you that needed healing. They weren't meant to complete you. They were meant to reveal the cracks. So instead of blaming yourself for being broken, start thanking the pain for showing you where to rebuild. You're not damaged. You're being refined. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every lie you've endured, it's all information. And if you use that information, you evolve. You stop repeating patterns. You stop choosing the same wounds in different bodies. You stop tolerating half love and calling it enough, because now you know better. But you only know better if you decide that what they did says more about them than it ever did about you. You have to choose that interpretation. You have to claim that narrative. You have to declare, this pain is not my identity. It's my instruction. It teaches you who's real and who's temporary. It teaches you who deserves your access. It teaches you how to set standards, not just expectations. It teaches you how to walk away without explanation and stand tall without validation. And the more you use pain as data, the less you need revenge, closure, or approval. Because you're not looking for justice. You're looking for growth. You're not chasing apologies. You're chasing alignment. That's a different kind of strength. That's the kind of strength that doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It simply walks forward wisdom no one can take away. But make no mistake, it's a choice. A brutal, conscious choice to stop personalizing someone else's dysfunction. A choice to stop reliving the moment they hurt you and start rewriting the moment you took your power back. It's a choice to interrupt the story your pain keeps trying to tell you. Because if you don't interrupt that story, it will become your future, and you'll keep attracting situations that confirm the lie that you're not enough. But if you shift the story, if you turn the pain into a pivot, you break the cycle, you step into a life that isn't built on reaction but intention. You stop living from your wounds and start living from your wisdom. And maybe the most powerful thing you can realize is this: healing isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about remembering who you are in spite of it. It's about taking all that pain and saying, you didn't destroy me. You educated me. And that mindset, that energy, that clarity is what makes you untouchable. Because once you stop letting pain define you, no one can ever use it against you again. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood forces in the world. People think it means letting someone off the hook, that you're weak if you forgive, that you're okay with what happened, that you're allowing that person to win. But forgiveness is not about them. It's not about giving them peace. It's about giving it back to yourself. Because every single day you carry that anger, that resentment, that bitterness, you're still giving them space in your mind. They may have walked away. They may have disappeared. They may have moved on with their life like nothing ever happened, but you're still haunted by it because you haven't released it. You haven't released yourself. And what most people don't realize is that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. You think you're staying strong by never forgiving them, but what you're actually doing is keeping the wound wide open. You're not healing. You're just rehearsing the pain. Forgiveness is not pretending they didn't hurt you. It's not acting like it did matter. It did matter. It changed you. It shook you. It broke something inside you. But when you forgive, you're saying, I will not allow this pain to chain me anymore. I will not let what you keep playing on repeat in my head. I will not make your actions my permanent home. Because every time you hold a grudge, every time you replay what they did, every time you tell the story over and over, you're binding yourself to that moment. You're making it part of your identity. And that's what destroys people. It's not the moment of pain. It's the lifetime they spend clinging to it. Forgiveness is a power move. It's how you take your story back. You're not erasing what happened. You're not justifying it. You're transforming it. You're saying, I get to decide how this ends. You don't get to keep hurting me through my own thoughts. You don't get to define how I feel about myself. You don't get to live in my future just because you were part of my past. And when you reach that point, when you truly understand that forgiveness is freedom, you stop waiting for apologies. You stop needing closure. You stop needing them to explain why they did what they did. Because at that level of growth, you realize the apology isn't always coming, and the closure isn't always deserved. Some people will never own what they did. Some people lie about it until the day they die. Some people will twist the truth, blame you, Rewrite the story so they don't have to face themselves. And if you're waiting on them to make it right before you move on, you've already lost the battle. You've handed your healing to the same person who broke you. That's not justice. That's emotional prison. Forgiveness is how you escape. It's how you reclaim the power to choose how you think, how you feel, and how you live moving forward. You're not condoning anything. You're simply refusing to carry the pain any longer. And when you forgive, something unexplainable happens. Your body changes. Your mind clears. Your energy shifts. That tightness in your chest, it starts to loosen. That heaviness in your stomach, it begins to dissolve. Because forgiveness isn't just a mental release. It's a physical one. Your nervous system no longer stays in a loop of stress and survival. Your soul finally exhales. And in that stillness, you meet a new version of yourself, one that doesn't flinch every time the past shows up, one that doesn't live in fear of being hurt again, one that walks through life lighter, stronger, unshakable. But let's be clear, this kind of forgiveness takes courage. It takes facing your own shadows. It takes admitting how deeply you were affected. It takes confronting the version of you that was wounded and saying, you don't to carry this anymore. You don't have to stay angry just to prove you were right. You don't have to keep reliving what they did just to remind yourself it mattered. You don't have to fight that battle forever. You can put it down. You can choose peace. And choosing peace doesn't make you weak. It makes you untouchable. Because once you've forgiven someone who never apologized, you become someone they can no longer manipulate. Someone they can no longer guilt. Someone they can no longer control. Forgiveness is how you rise above the cycle. It's how you stop bleeding from wounds you didn't cause. It's how you break generational patterns that were never yours to carry. Because let's be honest, some of the pain you're holding isn't even yours. Some of it was passed down. And when you forgive, you don't just set yourself free. You set generations free. You stop repeating the same emotional scripts that kept everyone around you stuck. You become the interruption. You become the healing. You become the closure your bloodline never had. Forgiveness is how you win without revenge, because revenge is cheap. It's loud. It's temporary. It doesn't heal. It just drags you back into the mud with the people who hurt you. But peace is priceless. Peace is silent. Peace lasts. Peace is what makes people look at you and say, how are you still standing? Peace is what makes your enemies confused, uncomfortable, and irrelevant, because nothing is more powerful than someone who could seek revenge, but chooses inner freedom instead. That's strength. That's maturity. That's the kind of growth they'll never understand, and they'll never be able to shake. And the truth is, forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. You can forgive someone and never speak to them again. You can forgive someone and still block their number. You can forgive someone and keep every boundary in place. Because forgiveness is not about re-entering the same fire that burned you. It's about finally walking out of it, no longer on fire, no longer screaming, no longer trying to be understood. It's about being whole about needing them to stitch you back together. This is your life. And you get one? You get one shot at peace, one shot at purpose, one shot at living unburdened by the poison of the past. You don't have to forget what they did, but you do have to stop letting it speak louder than your future. Every time you forgive, you evolve. Every time you forgive, you ascend. Every time you forgive, you release another chain from your soul. And that freedom, power, that's your revenge. That's your rebirth.